What's up guys, Cwesolo here, and today we are back for another video on Unreal Engine. This time around, we are going to be covering blueprints and the two different kinds of blueprints and how they work and how you can use them. So before we get into that, if you like this kind of content, be sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so that way you won't miss out on any of my future uploads. And let's just jump right into this. Okay. So last time around we covered just the basics, all the different kind of things in Unreal Engine at like kind of a base level, right? And I mentioned blueprints probably, I think I mentioned briefly, but we never really got into them and what they do. Okay, so blueprinting is essentially Unreal Engine's way of almost coding, right? Now, you can use C++ in Unreal Engine, just like I mentioned in my last video. If you haven't checked that out and you're new to Unreal Engine, you might want to go check it out. I'll have a card in the left or the right corner of the screen at the top right, so that way you can go check that out. But Unreal Engine has C++. You can use that if you don't like to blueprint, but that is like a more advanced kind of feature. I wouldn't suggest doing that if you're just getting into Unreal Engine. You might want to learn how to blueprint first and then jump into the C++. You also might want to know how to code in C++ first. If you don't know how to code in C++, you're going to have a much harder time trying to understand C++ with Unreal Engine. So with that out of the way, let's just get into blueprints. So first off, we're going to go over what a level blueprint is. That's what this video is going to cover. There's two kinds of blueprints in Unreal Engine. You have a blueprint class and you have level blueprints. Okay, a lot of the things you can do in level blueprints you can do in a blueprint class, so they kind of overlap a little bit, but there are things where you might want to use the level blueprint over a blueprint class, right? So for example, you have each level have its own like unique music that plays for that level, right? Now, you can make that in a blueprint class, and you could just plunk it in and call it a day, right? Or you could use the level blueprint, where each level, in this case, will have its own unique soundtrack, and you don't have to worry about coding around that, right? So that is one example. We're gonna get rid of this real quick here because I did a previous tutorial that didn't go. I think I accidentally deleted it. We're not going to worry about that. It was supposed to be this video, but we're doing something different this time around. So we're going to, now when you open this, you're going to have three different functions. You're going to have a begin play, event tick, and something else. You don't have to worry about those. We're just focusing on the begin play. So if it's not on yours and you deleted it already, just go event, begin play. And this is what we'll be working with. Okay, now if you already have started the project and you have the starter content, we're going to use the starter content for our music for this level. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to go into the audio, and now this comes with a whole bunch of different audio, you know, like collapsing things, explosions, fire, you know, lights, smoke, you know, whatever. But we're gonna go with the music. This is the music that comes with Unreal Engine, so you can use this to kind of prototype stuff like that. So, and I think the starter content's just free to use generally in any of your projects. So if you need music, there is already that provided music. Otherwise, you could probably go to the asset store and pick up some music for yourself, or make your own music if you have the knowledge to do that. But regardless, we're going to be using the level blueprint to play that song. So on begin play, we are going to go ahead and pull this off, and we're going to type in play 2D sound. Okay, now you probably have noticed that there was a couple other options there. So you can play sound at a location, so if you wanted specifically that sound at a specific location, you could use that, and this would have you type in the location and the sound, and you could get you can even use a variable for it. So if you have like a specific object that is going to have that location, you could pop that in here, and you can get the location of that object and play that sound. So for example, if you have like a campfire, right, you can have this specifically play that sound at that location. But we're not worried about that. We just want to play the sound across the entire level. Okay, so we're going to do that. So we're going to type in play sound 2D. Okay, and this is very simple. This is all this is. And we're going to go ahead and select our sound, and we're going to go find that nice little song that we had. So here it is. And now when we compile this and save it, we are going to have this song play. Okay, that's not a song. Whatever. The sound is playing. I put Steam, not the song. My bad. Either way, you are able to play the song using the level blueprint. Now, I want to go over some basics here with the blueprints and how they kind of work and stuff like that. So we're going to kind of go over the UI a little bit, trying to understand what everything does, to just sort of kind of get the basis on how this works. If you've done any coding previously from the C# videos that I have, or any kind of coding knowledge like previously, you're going to be more than good with what's going on here. So here we go. So we have functions, which are the equivalent of like a method. So we can go ahead, and there's like 19 functions here. We can make our own functions, or we can override functions here. You have macros, which I've never used personally, but they could be used for some things. I'm not exactly sure what they do. I would presume that they do things automatically, but I don't know. I've never used them. I've never had the need to, so I have never had the need to use those. If you want a video on those, I'll do the research and figure out what that does. Then you have variables. So this is like any basic programming language will have variables. Just same thing with the blueprints here. We have plenty of variables here, and we even have some variables that you may not have seen before, like vectors, rotators, and transforms. These are in text and name. These are all specific to Unreal Engine and the blueprints, so that's pretty cool. You still have the standard Boolean, byte, integer, and 64 or long, a float, and I believe they do have doubles in here too. They should. No, they don't have doubles, so they have floats. You're more often than not going to be using a float in games over doubles. So that's just worth mentioning, that doubles aren't really used often. And as you can see, they don't exist here. So, yeah. There's plenty of other variables here. You have enumerators and all that. And these variables can be made public, so that way you could see them. So we're going to go over instance editable. So this will set it up where it is publicly editable with the blueprint. There are a number of reasons why you'd want that to be that way. For example, if you are making anything to send you to the next level and you want it to know what the next level is, you're going to want that to be editable, right? Blueprint read-only, so this will set it to where it's only going to be read-only. This is a tooltip, so you could type it in just so that way you don't forget what it does. This does a thing. And now it's going to have a tooltip with it, and if we were to just plop it in here and get it, it will say, what it does. So you'll know when you click on it here that this is what it does. It does a thing. And some of these, so private, we'll set it private. And all these different things have different stuff. And we could set a public value here too. So we can set it to false or true here after we save it. And this is just a Boolean, so like if we were to make this a string, right, and we were to change it into a string, and we can go ahead and compile and save this, we can add a string to it, and save it and set it, and now it is a string instead of a Boolean. And that's kind of what this stuff, that's kind of what these do, is they can store data and have it set up to where you can access that data later. Very useful, typical in code. So, and level blueprints, like I said, you can do a lot of things with level blueprints. So like in the music scenario, we are just simply playing music. But if you were to say want to make, things pop in and out of existence, or you want to play, for example, a cutscene specific to a level, right? You would want to use the level blueprint for that instead of a blueprint class. And like I said, level specific things, you may want to just use the level blueprint over a blueprint class, right? Instead of using a blueprint class instead of having many blueprint classes to do that, or coding around the fact that I have many different levels and I have to code around the fact that these things are different in all the levels, you could just use the level blueprint. In many scenarios, though, in my experience, there are things that I would put in the level blueprint and then later move to a blueprint class for efficiency's sake, because sometimes the level blueprint way is not the most efficient way. So, for example, if you have many different characters, you need to put on a level, right, that can be selected, and you have many different levels, and all the characters can be used on those levels. In this scenario, you are going to definitely want to use a blueprint class, because now you have many different characters that you're going to be plopping in any of the given levels, and you don't want to have to write the same code 40 times, right? You want to just once and done. So actually twice and done, because you're coding it for the screen and then for the spawner. So you're doing it twice. And you don't want to have to do it 80, 90 times. You just want to get it done once and then be able to add or subtract characters at your will. In that scenario, and many scenarios where if it's going to be used on multiple levels, you might want to, you're going to be looking at a blueprint class, right? You're going to be looking at one of these. If you're doing it just one level and that's it, that's all you're doing, that's what this does. So that's pretty much it. This is just a basic overview of level blueprints. This isn't anything crazy. It's not. This isn't meant to be an in-depth video of how to do something with the level blueprint. This is just simply setting this up, just showing you how this works. Okay, it's very simple and easy, and it's very useful. This is something that's very important. I will have specific tutorials later on how to do specific things in Unreal Engine, like my how to make a main menu video, which is out of date and is not the best way of doing it. So if you want to go check those out, here's a card. You can go check it out. It's how to make a main menu that has controller input, but I have thus found a better way of doing that, and I will be sharing that in the future. Anyway, if you guys like this video, leave a like, comment if you have any questions or anything like that, or if you have anything to say. Subscribe if you are into game development and you are interested in learning more, or if you just like the content generally. And yeah, also my game has a Steam page now. I'll have a link in the description so you can go check that out. Maybe wishlist it. That'd be really cool. I may or may not start streaming the progress of making that game, so keep an eye out for that. Maybe you should subscribe and hit that bell icon so that way you won't miss out on that. Yeah, go check it out. If you're watching this sometime in the future, like 2 or 3 years from the upload date, the game's probably available for you to buy it. Go check it out. You might wanna play it. I don't know. It's the Amazing Ball. It's pretty cool. Yeah, and it was made in Unreal Engine also. So there you go. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.